The Trudeau government recently made a number of promises to increase Canada's commitment to the military. However, with the current recruiting and retention crisis facing the Canadian Armed Forces, it is time to target how exactly we might meet those heady objectives. The recent NATO summit in Vilnius, Lithuania proved the genesis for a number of promises by the Trudeau Liberals to make significant increases to Canada's military participation in the alliance.
Our ultimate responsibility is to keep our 1 billion citizens safe. This means we must do everything possible to prevent the conflict from spreading beyond Ukraine.
In a whirlwind photo-op pit stop to the forward-deployed Canadian contingent in Latvia, Trudeau re-announced Canada's plans to increase the size of that force to a full brigade.
Today, I am announcing that we are going to more than double our presence, deploying up to an additional 1,200 members of the Canadian Armed Forces to serve and defend democracy and the rule of law.
While the other NATO allies that contribute to this multinational force in Latvia would also be increasing their sizes, for Canada this would mean expanding from 800 to 2,200 troops deployed on a rotating but continuous basis.
As a Canadian and as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, I couldn't be more proud of our country for coming on board in this mission. This is a good mission.
However, the question begs as to where our understrength Army units are going to find and train the prerequisite number of personnel to keep that many soldiers forward deployed in Latvia. The current tour length for troops based in Latvia is 6 months to 1 year. These postings are considered operational, so no spouses or dependents accompany the member. That length of separation is a challenge for most couples and families, and given the size of the Army and the scale of the commitment, our soldiers will soon be in a constant cycle of preparing for Latvia, deploying to Latvia, and returning from Latvia. There is an answer to this problem which might be considered extreme, but it is not without some successful precedents. By this I mean the creation of a Canadian Foreign Legion. Based on the formula for the French and Spanish Foreign Legions, recruits would sign contracts for a 3-year tour of duty. At the successful completion of that contract, they would be granted full citizenship. This legion would be like the Spanish Legion in that recruits would need to be 18 years of age and not be older than 29 on the day they enlist. All recruits would be single and enrolled on a priority basis based upon physical fitness, mental aptitude, with previous military service being a bonus. Should a member of the Canadian Legion become injured or wounded prior to the 3-year commitment, they would follow in the French example and automatically be granted full citizenship. The French call it Français par le sang verse, or French through spilled blood. Recruits could be trained by Canadian officers and NCOs at bases in Canada, but they would know in advance that their 3 years of service would be spent on overseas missions, such as the brigade in Latvia or future UN peacekeeping operations. The question of retention for Legionnaires is a simple matter of withholding the bulk of their pay package. For instance, if the base pay rate was $60,000, then $40,000 would be withheld in trust until the contract is complete. At the end of a 3-year contract, the Legionnaire would be released as a full citizen with a starting nest egg of about $120,000. Both the French and Spanish Foreign Legions have evolved into highly respected military formations, which have earned their respective countries glory and respect on global battlefields. The original rationale for France and Spain to create such legions was to avoid conscripting their own citizens to police the remnants of their far-flung empires. In Canada's case, it would be a means of bringing in a high level of immigrant to solve a manpower shortage within our military that has reached a critical tipping point. It would be a win-win for Canada. This has been On Target. I'm Scott Taylor.